Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request from Greg. Thank you so much. I do apologize for the wait, but thank you for being patient. I'm trying to get to these as soon as I can, but thank you so much, guys. And thank you for the request. It's really appreciated. For anyone that wants to request any other type of video, whether it be a topic, reaction, commentary, video game playthrough, movie news, review, pretty much anything, PayPal, CashApp, other options, or links are down below in the info box. I'll get to it as soon as I can. And thank you. And this was nice to rewatch again. It's Men at Work, the 1990 comedy that does have a Blu-ray from NVD. Sadly, there's no features on it. I never did pick it up, so I watched it online. I mean, maybe I'll pick it up, because you never know. Some of those movies may go out of print one day, but I'm not surprised there's no features, but it would have been nice to have some features. I don't know if this is true. I read somewhere that the ending of the movie was changed. So I'm like, well, what was the original ending for this? I don't know if that was just a false thing I read or what the deal was. But Men at Work, this is a film I liked ever since I saw it as a kid. It's directed by Emilio Estevez. It's honestly my favorite film he's directed. Him and his brother Charlie Sheen, they star in the film. Now, they were together in Young Guns, but here you actually get to see a lot more of them together, going back and forth with each other. That was cool to see, because I do think they work well together. I know they did another film called Rated X, but I never saw that film. At least I don't think. If I did, I don't remember anything about it. But like I said, it was cool to see them go back and forth. And these are two that definitely went on different paths. Emilio seems to be a bit more respected in terms of, he did, films like The Mighty Ducks and other movies, and he just stayed out of trouble. He has little, his wine, I think like he doesn't have like a winery. Like he kind of goes off on his own, just doing his own thing. He's out of the public for many years. While Charlie Sheen, he's tiger blooding and winning and meltdown at the meltdown and giving AIDS to everybody. What the hell he was doing? Which is a shame, because I like Charlie Sheen in terms of an actor. I liked a lot of his older films. Like with both these guys. I mean, Emilio, I don't care what anyone says, I love Maximum Overdrive. I know he hates it. I know he did like a little Q&A with his dad and talked about how much he hated it, but I love the film. I really liked Young Guns. Judgment Night, I think, is underrated. I don't think he's big on it, because I remember there was an interview where the people asked him, they were hyped because they liked it, but he's like, Emilio's, I don't know, I thought it'd be one way, and I'm like, dude, come on, what? I mean, it's his opinion, but Judgment Night is great, underrated film. And then Charlie Sheen, The Rookie, The Chase, The Arrival, say a lot of those. Young Guns, like with Emilio, Platoon. Yeah, I think both have done a lot of wonderful work. So they started together in this as garbage men, and I like when they just goof off, where they're like bowling a bowling ball down the road, or they're taking to deliver a trash can, throwing it, and the others jumping over it, and they're clashing lids together, and just how nonchalant they are, goofing off as garbage men, causing chaos enough that the boss has to put an observer on them, which is Chief David from John Carpenter's The Thing, and They Live. And Chief David is a whole lot of fun in this as well. Just he's this crazy Vietnam vet, just insane, and Steve David just went for it, and just what was this? The several sacred things you don't mess with, and one is another man's fries, and you remember that. And just like the way he's committed and intense, and Emilio's look at him like, and Teeth has his arm, and it's almost like you hear like a break or something. It's like, and Emilio looks at Charlie, and Charlie's like, see, stuff like that, it's fun. It goes at a good pace. It's only 90-some minutes long. Stuart Copeland from The Police, he does the score. Talented guy. He did the music for See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and The First Power with Lou Diamond Phillips. Great scores. This is another good one. The plot of the film, I should get into that, is Emilio and Charlie Sheen like to say they're garbage men. They like to goof off and play pranks. They're playing pranks with these other garbage guys, where they put like an airbag in Charlie and Emilio's truck, so they get them back where they have another airbag in the locker, but it explodes and all this shit. And just the reaction, it's shit, it's shit. Now yeah, it's bottom of the barrel humor, but the way it's done at least has a bit of creativity, and the reaction I thought was pretty funny. So yeah, I'm not usually for shit jokes, but I thought this was actually pretty, if you don't do it, that's actually a pretty funny one. So while that's all going on, you have this guy named Jack who is running for mayor. And he knows about this guy played by John Getz, which, if anyone ever sees this film, you go, why does this guy look familiar? The main villain of this movie, John Getz, he was in The Fly with David Cronenberg. He was also in The Fly too. He was the guy hooking up with Gina Davis, or at least wanting to hook up with Gina Davis. And he gets his hand melted off at the end of the first Fly, and then he comes back in The Fly too. That's John Getz. He plays the main villain here. His company is dumping toxic waste. This other guy, Jad, finds out. Like I say, he's running for mayor. And he's got this tape, but it gets lost. He's trying to find where the tape is, so he goes to his campaign manager, Susan, played by Leslie Hope. She lives across the street from Charlie Sheen. And Charlie has seen her from time to time across the street. He has an infatuation with her. Sees that this guy's being seemingly violent with her. So Charlie gets a BB gun, a pellet gun, shoots him in the ass. Butt shot. They celebrate. And unbeknownst to them, John Getz has hired these two hitmen to go and kill and strangle the guy and dump him in this canister. But as the bad guys are driving away, the canister gets lost, rolls back. So the next day, during their job as getting the garbage, they find this guy in the garbage. And it's the same day that Chief David is with them as an observer. So now the three of them see this dead body, and they have to figure out who killed the guy. They don't know. They're wondering, is it the girl from across the street? So Charlie Sheen goes over to try to figure it out. And then you get kind of two things where Charlie hangs out with the girl, and they go out, and they have a little bit of lovey-dovey stuff, while Emilio is with Chief David, the dead body, they call for pizza. You have the pizza guy, played by Dean Cameron, who I always remember as Chainsaw from Summer School. Him and his buddy showed Texas Chainsaw Massacre to the class. Dean Cameron's one of those guys. He was also in Bad Dreams. He's one of those guys that, I don't know what happened to him. Like, I thought he could have had potential to do other stuff, and he just kind of, he did a couple films, and then he might have still worked, but I just don't know what he's done as of late. But I always liked him when I saw him and stuff. I know you're wondering what's with the awkward pause, because I'm trying to think. Is it nostalgia the reason I like this a decent amount, or is it for the film itself? Because the film gets a lot of shit. Like people back to the day didn't like it, but at the same time, like once in a while, if I mention this movie, they go, "Oh yeah, I remember that film." So it maybe has a cult following. I don't know. I will say this is the first time. Anytime I think of this term, I always think of this movie, and it's the golf clap. Golf clap, golf clap. I'm sure that's, obviously that term is from other stuff, but I had never seen it in a film. I don't know if a film ever mentioned that, or at least with this. That was how I was introduced to it. I think a lot of people were as well. And, anytime I think of a golf clap, I always think of Men at Work and them doing it. And I guess it depends, like, how you feel about these two actors. If you don't care about Emilio and you don't care about Charlie Sheen, then yeah, more than likely you're not going to care about the film. But because I like those two guys, it was cool to see them interact with each other. That was a big part of the fun, whether it be the early parts, like I said, when they're hanging out and they're just on their garbage, adventures where they're looking at the trash and Emilio's looking at this thing and Charlie's like, "It's a bra, James." Yeah, giving each other shit. Or they're talking about this girl that one of them knew back in the day. She had a hair lip. She did not. Did do. Did not. She did not. And like these little off the cuff things, like when there's the next morning and Emilio wakes up and he's like groggy and he just randomly goes, "Where the hell am I?" Like these little kind of quirky moments that make it fun. Because there's not a whole lot of, well, number one, there's not a whole lot of comedies today, let alone quirky. Yes, implausible, sure. I mean, there's a dead body. Yes, there's a line where they say it's getting a bit gamey, but if there's a dead body, people would be smelling it very easily, very quickly. But ever since we get a Bernie's, probably before that, to be fair, because they shit their pants and all this other stuff. It's just one of those things that you don't really want to think about it because do you really want a film explaining that shit to you? And if you do, will it be funny? So I guess you just take those implausibilities however you can. To me, I'm fine with it being implausible in this instance. I'm fine with that. I just think the actors work well. I think Keith David is great foil for them, at least at first. Like when they're first meeting together in the truck and Emilio mumbles something and Keith David's like, "If you want to keep this job, don't tell me what you're mumbling over there." It's like, "I said this sucks. And basically so do you." And Keith's laughing, and then all the other two are laughing. And it stops, and then Keith's like, "Why you lose shit?" So, again, the actors, for me, is what makes this work. They worked well together. Again, I like the score. Like, the score has that quirkiness that See No Evil, Hear No Evil had with, I don't know if you call it synthesizers, but like little guitar. It's a fun quirky that I quite like. That he also did See No Evil, Hear No Evil, so, which is a favorite of mine. So that I thought that was a nice asset to the film. And there's some fun lines, like when they first find the guy, the dead body, Keith David looks and goes, "Oh, someone threw away a perfectly good white boy." Or when Charlie Sheen and Emilio are fighting, and Charlie's like, "You're a stupid, stupid little man." This is his, maybe that's not so much the line, but just the way Sheen says it. I would say the movie loses a little bit of its humor in the second half because our main characters separate. And it's just, I was having so much fun seeing these two guys together that when they separate, I was, oh man. But they do get back together at the end. So there's that. But it's like, man, I'm still liking it. But them as a team, I thought worked the best. But at the same time, there was some nice like supporting characters. There was the guys, the other garbage guys that were pulling pranks and giving them shit and or trying to prank them. Like they tried to do their own prank of the locker, airbag shit dad. And it's like, I thought you read that thing. I followed the instructions. They open the lockers, like what happened? Then it blows back on them, so they get themselves with the same prank that the other guys had put upon them. There's these bike cops. They're always trying to hassle the lead characters. One of them I recognize is John Pooch. He was the younger brother in Jaws 3. He was Dennis Quaid's brother, one of the Brodies. And he was a good foil. And he has some fun line readings. Like when Teef David... It is a spoiler, sorry, this is all spoilers. When Teef David has a... makes sure that they put their guns down and then ties them up, but strip them to their underwear and handcuff them to this merry-go-round. And the way the John, as the bike cop says, "You'll swing for this. I shit you not." I thought he had a good way of saying that. Good approach to that. I thought it was good line reading. Pretty funny. And like everybody seemed to be in on the fun. When Charlie Sheen's with the girl and they're trying to get away. "What are you doing?" "I'm crashing." Like I said, even as a kid, it's like, oh, it always saddened me a bit when again Emilio and Charlie were away from each other. Because I just think of buddy movies as I want to see them together. If it's working well, I want to see them together as much as possible. Like I said, by the end they do get back together. I guess it's also trying to be a bit of an environmental message movie because of the toxic waste stuff. And like I said, spoilers, by the end, you do get some little bit of action. Well, I was talking about the other characters, like the sport. I like the two guys that play the hitmen. I thought they had a nice back and forth with each other, where they're giving each other grief. Like, one guy has a taser, and the other guy's like, "You always gotta be special. You gotta have a fucking laser gun." They don't say fucking. You got a damn laser gun. It's a taser. And like the way they're giving each other grief. I thought, like I said, they have a nice like pairings. Again, the bite cops, the foil, garbage guys, the two hitmen. There's some nice pairings in this that each one had their bit fun, eccentric quirks to them that I thought worked well for the whole structure of the movie. Has a good supporting cast. And it's not an action-packed movie. It's not going for that. There's little bits here and there because of some mistakes. What car gets blown up. Cars crash into each other. You have a pretty decent stunt piece where Emilio and Charlie, they got back together. They're on the back of this truck where the girl Susan is trapped in one of the canisters. And the back of the door breaks open, and they're both swinging back and forth. And some nice wide shots to show these stuntmen. I mean, really were hanging there in these high-speed roads, doing all for real in camera. It's always nice to see. And even a bit where they deal with the bad guys who are all in these contamination suits, and they're Emilio and Teef David are fighting them or flipping them up or Keith Davis like used a little bit of kung fu or something, and even Dean Cameron gets on the action and puts a tire on one, rolls him down the hill. So that was fun to see. Even the ending, it's silly. Each one have their moment to fuck up the bad guy, either smashing trash lids on him or spraying him in the face with like a type of spray. And they shoot him in the ass with a pellet gun. Smile, butthead. I thought the ending, though, was a bit... I don't want to say abrupt. I guess what it is... Again, if it's true, that this ending was different and there was a different... Like, if there was a different original ending to this, I would like to know what that was. Because I guess I wanted to see like an aftermath of the characters and what happened to them. Maybe because I liked them. I like these characters. I like to see what happened. Like, not granted, I mean, what would that be? Them getting teased to the city or something? But, I don't know, just... Okay, there's this bit where Emilio and Charlie Sheen, they talk about how they like to open up like a surf shop. Maybe like that comes about, like they get a reward or something and they're able to open up their surf shop. Like a final scene where they're no longer garbage guys, they're no longer garbage collectors. With the reward, they'll open up a surf shop and they're having fun with it. And Charlie and the girl got together and Keith comes on by and Keith David, become still friends with them. And or maybe Keith David works at the surf shop, but he's very intense. Like, you don't buy that now. You sure you don't want to buy that? Huh? I guess I wanted to see a little bit of, just a little bit more finality with the characters. But maybe that's just my own... It's not even a nip, it's just my own personal want of wanting a little bit more from the ending. I also thought, like, the two hitmen, I thought they could have had, like, a better comeuppance. Because I could be wrong, because I do get things wrong, I will admit. I fuck up times. A lot of times. I think the last time we see them is some of our characters crash into the plant where they're ready to go and dump the toxic waste. Take it out of there and into the landfill. And, like, the two hitmen are there, and then the back of the truck, a bunch of garbage just falls on them. I was kind of wish there was, again, a bit more of a comeuppance on them. Maybe, like, Emilio and Charlie fight those guys. It could be comedic, but kind of 2-on-2 battle. I thought that would have been nice to see. But, I mean, again... I just thought, oh, okay, they seem... Since they were in a decent amount of the movie up until then, I just thought, I just want a little bit more of a comeuppance from them. But again, these are like little nitpicky things, I know. Overall, I liked it. I thought it was still fun. I still laughed a decent amount of times. It does have some memorable moments, like the golf clap moment, and good supporting cast. Not too long, 90-some minutes. It was still fun. I know this film did not do well. It was labeled a flop. And critics just hated the film. And I will say the poster... I mean, the poster doesn't bother me. But it is one of those things that kind of... Okay, if I would imagine like the era of like 90s to 2000 direct-to-video, I could see this being a cover like one of those movies where it seemed even sillier, and especially with the guy's legs coming out of it. I mean, like I said, I'm so used to it, so it doesn't bother me, but I just see like maybe, oh, okay, it seems a bit lowbrow than it is, or I don't know. I mean, granted though, it does tell the story. There are garbage guys. There is a dead guy there, and they have to figure out what to do. So I mean, it does tell them. You know, it does tell your audience what it is. So. But yeah, it cost $9 million, and I'm trying to think. Well, I guess it grossed 16 million. So I mean, I don't know. It depends with marketing and how much theaters get. Because usually they say you gotta make at least double, and it didn't quite make double. I mean, I don't know. If it made money, maybe made a little bit, including home video, but it wasn't like a breakout hit. Wasn't a box office bonanza or anything. And I didn't mind the soundtrack either. I liked the song at the end. Whoa, da, 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 da. Whoa, da, 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 da. Very upbeat tune to end your movie. That's why I wish the last scene was on the main characters. The last scene is on the cops and this dog, hovering over going by the cops. I kind of wanted the last scene to be with our characters and have that song play out. I don't know. That's just me. Like I said, if I don't know where I read that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know where I read that there was another. Let me see. At work. Well, I mean, Wikipedia says. Let's see. Does this have a link to where this says? It says here. The studio disliked the original ending. Shooting the new one resulted in 10 additional days of filming. But... And Emilio edited the film while making Young Guns 2 during the day. Of course, I go to it, and it's one of those things where you have to log into the fucking website to read the article. That's bullshit. Jesus. So I don't know. See, now I'm honed in on. I want to find that out. From what I understand, they also had a hard time trying to market the film and try to know how the best way to sell the film. So I guess like the poster was done last minute. And I guess Emilio, like the cast, they didn't really like the poster. I don't know. I mean, maybe someone just made that up on... I can't see the article that bear was linked to. Damn it. So I don't know. It is what it is. But overall, still think this is a fun one. Still think this is a film that held up for me after... I haven't seen it for a while, so... Like I said, it was nice to watch this again. So. With that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.